What's up, guys? Chase for AXW here, and welcome to the second edition of the This Is Wrestling podcast. Check out last week's edition. We had Mikey Webb on. Amazing interview, and we have an even better guest for you this week. Ring of Honor Top Prospect Tournament winner Donovan Dijak is here and ready to talk. So now, first of all, before we get to the interview, I am just going to talk a little bit about NXT rival Kevin Owens winning the championship. That was very, very unexpected. I had no idea in hell that was going to happen. And it really swerved me, and swerves are great in the wrestling industry, so hats off to NXT for being able to swerve us better than WWE than the main roster really have for the past couple years. So, hats off to them. And every single match on that card was absolutely spectacular. Adrian Neville versus Finn Balor absolutely stole the show. And the other news circulating is that The Undertaker may not be healthy enough for WrestleMania. And I'm kind of happy about that. I really don't want to see The Undertaker's legacy get tarnished again if he loses to Bray Wyatt, which I feel like would happen if he lost twice in a row. I feel like that just diminishes The Undertaker in a way that he shouldn't be. So, let's get into the interview now. Hopefully you will enjoy it. Check him out on Twitter, at Donovan Dijak, so here we go. And we are here now with the winner of the 2015 Ring of Honor Top Prospect Tournament, Donovan Dijak. How is it going?
It's going excellently. I'm enjoying a nice, quiet evening here with my two dogs. Hopefully they're going to remain quiet throughout this interview. They've been known to make their presence felt throughout past interviews, so we shall see.
That's got to be great, man. So, you getting a lot of snow up there in Massachusetts?
Yeah, it refuses to stop. I think right now it's at about 5 feet in my yard. Like 2 blizzards. There's more snow coming on the way Thursday, and then another blizzard over the weekend. So if the snow gets taller than me, then we're in trouble. That's when the apocalypse is on its way.
So true, so true. So are you happy that the Patriots won the Super Bowl?
I'm thrilled. I'm a huge Patriots fan. I have been my entire life. I watch every game. I at least follow every game. Now it's getting a little tougher to watch the games with shows on Sundays and things like that. But I downloaded an app on my phone. Still watch games on there, and I follow the team very closely, and I was very thrilled that I was able to watch the Super Bowl in its entirety.
Yeah, and that was one of the best plays, at the very end. And one of the worst play calls as well, so.
Yeah, unfortunately it happened right after probably the most ridiculous catch in Super Bowl history that most people are going to forget, where it was kind of a bomb down the right sideline, and I don't even remember who made the play now. I mean, if they had ended up scoring the touchdown, I'm sure I'd know who made that catch, but because his name would live in New England infamy, right? It's the Tyree. But yeah, thankfully I only remember Malcolm Butler's name now.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that was awesome. So, going from football to wrestling, do you remember the first time that you watched wrestling, like a match or just an event that you saw?
My first wrestling memory. I mean, the first time I was actually invested in it. I can remember stuff from when I was a little kid of it just happening to be on. But I was never actually a fan until I was about 12 years old in 1999. It was during the Attitude Era. My brother started putting on Monday Night Raw. I can't remember the exact match, but I remember one of the first matches I remember seeing was there's this stable called the Oddities or something like that. I can't remember.
Oh God, yeah, I actually remember them. Oh no.
They had a big Cartman doll that they brought down to the ring or something like that, and I thought it was strange, but he kept watching it, and I kept sort of tagging along, and that's when I really started to get invested in the product and the storylines and everything like that.
So we can thank the oddities for you.
We cannot thank the oddities for me. We can thank my brother. The oddities just happened to be what was on, and they didn't really. No offense to whoever was in that stable, they didn't really draw my interest. It was after that, the Stone Cold Steve Austins and the Undertakers of the world who really drew me into the sport.
Of course. So do you have any favorite matches from your childhood that you really enjoyed?
As a kid, I really enjoyed Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock at WrestleMania for 15, 14. Whichever was the first time.
Yeah, 15 was first, 17 second, 19 third.
Yeah. 15 was that was one of my favorite matches as a kid. Now when I look back at it, there's all sorts of matches that I enjoy currently, more than that one, but that one has, I guess, the sentimental spot.
Yeah, I mean, because it was probably two of your favorites at the time.
Right, yep.
So you played football a lot. So how was your football career?
The first time I played football was in 2001 as a freshman. I always wanted to play football as a kid, but I couldn't because my hometown had Pop Warner, which had like weight limit rules, and since I've always kind of been a tall kid, even if I were skinny, which I wasn't like super skinny, even if I lost some weight, I would probably still be above the weight limits. So I didn't really want to do that, especially because I enjoyed basketball so much. So the first time I played was freshman football. This is at Lunenburg High School, where I was born and raised in Massachusetts. Played freshman year there, and then my sophomore year I was already on varsity. 3 more years of varsity, obviously, and then I was recruited by a number of schools going to college. I was recruited by Syracuse, Boston College. I was offered scholarships from the University of Maine and Massachusetts. I ended up going with UMass just because I liked it. They seemed, a little bit more invested in me than maybe some of the bigger schools. So I ended up going there for 1 year. They immediately moved me from defensive line to offensive line, where I had to gain a ton of weight. So I was pretty much not enjoying that whatsoever. My heart always was in the defensive line and basketball, really, because even though I was a lot better at football, I always loved basketball. That was always my favorite sport. Class size was an issue too, being the location in Massachusetts wasn't the greatest. So I decided to transfer to Bridgewater State University in 2006, where I ended up being a two-sport athlete playing football, obviously on the defensive line, and basketball until 2011, when I finally graduated.
And then when was it that you started training for wrestling?
That would be in 2000 and, what the hell year is it now? So that would be in 2012, so the very end of 2012. So it was like basically a 2-year period there without anything from, most of 2011 and most of 2012. Because my last basketball game was at the very end of 2011, or the very beginning of 2011, and I started training at the very end of 2012.
And now where did you train?
I started training in August, either August or maybe September, at a fantasy camp at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. It's the home of the Chaotic Training Center and also the home of Killer Kowalski's. It's located in North Andover, Massachusetts. The head trainer there is Brian Fury. He's one of the top guys in New England. He's had his foot in Ring of Honor. Todd Warbeard Hansen he also used to be a full-time trainer there, but now he only
now he's working with Ring of Honor a lot. So
so he's got kind of a tighter schedule, but he still helps out as much as he can. We have guys there all the time who are really great in helping out, like Tommaso Ciampa, Matt Taven. A lot of the Chaotic guys come by there regularly, like Chase Belmonte and Brian Malonis, and then we have guys like John Walters, Mike Hollow comes in. So it's really Bob Evans too comes in. So it's really a a really great learning experience. I can credit pretty much everything that I've ever accomplished to most of those guys in that school in particular.
Yeah. How was your first day of training? Was it difficult? Was it easy?
Everybody's first day kind of consists of the same kind of reality checks where you realize that the ring, isn't like fun to land on. It actually hurts quite a bit. The ropes are not forgiving. They hurt a ton, and you end up getting these dark bruises on your lats and your hips and stuff. But other than that, I had a ton of fun because everything was coming to me very naturally. Not that I was like a great wrestler on day one, but just the I don't want to say the footwork either, because footwork's a big part of wrestling that I'm still working on. But just kind of like the timing and like the concept of things was coming kind of naturally to me. Just based on what I had watched and my natural athleticism from being a two-sport athlete for so long. That like hitting the ropes and tying up and things like that. They just kind of felt right, if that makes sense. I remember reading, I don't know if it was in his book or just a quote by Triple H from a long time ago when the first time he went to Killer Kowalski's, which used to be in Malden, before they moved to the location where it is now. He said that the first time he got dropped off there by his girlfriend and he came out and she asked him how it was. He said that something along the lines of like it just felt right. Well, that was pretty much my first experience with it as well.
Oh, that's a good way to start then. So, was there like one move that you had a struggle with understanding how to perform?
Sunset flip.
Ah.
Not surprising, since I definitely haven't done a sunset flip ever in my career. Well, maybe I have once. I can't remember, but yeah, it's not a move that big men do very often.
Yeah, I mean, you probably land on your head, so.
I didn't land on my head. I landed on my ankles. So if you're doing it with all that momentum, and you're a big guy like me, there's a lot of force coming behind your legs. So my ankles drilled into not my ankles, my heels were drilling into the mat, and I got these huge like heel bruises or contusions or something that was just making it horribly painful to walk. So that was a great way to teach me not to hit my heels anymore. So that's when I started landing flat-footed.
Yeah. So, like, apparently that didn't stop you from being somewhat of a high flyer, though. I mean, you still can pull off a lot of incredible maneuvers. Like, what made you decide that you wanted to not just be the prototype big man?
It probably, I don't know. I mean, it must be a combination of a bunch of stuff. I really haven't done. I know people are seeing a lot of it now because of the Ring of Honor stuff and the exposure, and I do it in Beyond Wrestling a lot. It's not something. I mean, I've probably had. I don't know. I've probably had somewhere around 120 to 150 matches now at this point. And I've really only done like dives per se on like 4 of them. And I've really only done like high flying moves on probably like 5 or 6. It's been a recent development, needless to say. Just something, because I'm taught to protect my size and everything like that, which psychologically, from a psychological standpoint, I still try to do as much as I can. But the more time I spend in a ring, the more I realize what I can and can't do, and what crowds will and won't react to. And then once you get on these higher stages, you have to be able to do something.
Yeah, that nobody else does.
To make people remember you, and will people remember, that I was psychologically sound? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it's a piece of it, but the when you don't have a ton of time and it's a television taping and you need to make yourself stand out and be remembered, that's when I try to do something that I feel like people will remember me by, while also combining all that other stuff. So yeah, I'm probably going to start working more of it into most of my matches, just because it's something that I'm getting more comfortable with. But in terms of the basic reasoning behind doing that sort of stuff, that's pretty much my explanation.
Yeah, and who was your first match against, and how was it?
My very, very, very first match was for a spot show at a thing called the Haverhill Kids Fest, and that was I thought I was just showing up for a battle royal. That was ended up kind of putting me on the show. It was a free show, kind of just like not really a crowd, but just like whoever was around.
Yeah.
I worked with a guy named Chris Chambers, who I'm pretty sure doesn't wrestle anymore, but he might. I'm not 100% sure. Very short match, not particularly good as one could imagine. My first match in front of a
actual crowd,
in front of like a paying crowd was actually quite a bit later. I think like 4 or 5 months later, actually, because there was like an injury and some other stuff in between that. So that was against Todd Sobel for a company called NCW, which I'm pretty sure stands for Northeast Championship Wrestling. And that match was actually better. Todd's been around a while, so he was able to kind of guide me through everything. And that was that must have been in August of 2013. So, I mean, realistically speaking, that wasn't too long ago. Although it seems like a while ago, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, no, you haven't been in the business that long, so it's good to know that you're improving very quickly. I mean, winning the Ring of Honor Top Prospect Tournament in only 3 years of a career is one hell of an accomplishment. And do you have like a favorite opponent to work or favorite match?
I'd say my favorite. I mean, my favorite match is kind of skewed, obviously, because I mean, in terms of what happened in the ring and just you have to account for the crowd reaction and the I guess the scenario. I mean, I'd be lying if I said my favorite match wasn't the finals of the Top Prospect Tournament, which I guess will be airing. I think it's not, for whatever reason, they're like switching the.
I think it's like in 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I think they switched the two tapings because I was actually tapings 1 and 2, and then there was a third one, but it seems like they're showing the third this week. So I would assume that the week after that will be taping 2. So yeah, just the way the crowd reacted and the way everything went, that was my favorite match. My favorite in-ring opponent, though, has been Brian Fury. I was able to wrestle him once at a Beyond Wrestling Dojo Wars taping type thing in Providence, and he's my trainer. So obviously, I was really looking forward to that match, and I think it came out really well. So hopefully that gets. I don't know if it's released or not yet, but maybe there can be more eyes on that one day, because that's something I'm really proud of.
Oh, all right. That's good. That's good. I mean, it's your trainer, so you guys, it could be like a nice Master versus Jedi scenario there.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So was there like a certain wrestler that heavily inspired your moveset? Like, I know you have a lot of kicks. I mean, I really enjoy that 720 front kick that you do. I mean.
Oh, the discus big boot?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that anyone really inspired my moveset. Obviously, the short arm super kick, I pretty much stole that from Booker T. Although I think he does it with more of the leg. The rest of everything is pretty much just me thinking of a generic big man move and trying to, put my own spin on it, sort of. like I do a backbreaker, but instead of kneeling down, I do it standing backbreaker. I do a sidewalk slam, but instead of just doing a normal sidewalk slam, I do a tilt-a-whirl before it, and I stay standing. Choke slam, but I do it onto the knee. You know, it's basically just a bunch of big man moves, a big boot, but I do a turn instead. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like I want to take like the big man arsenal that like everybody sees all the time whenever they see a big man match, and just kind of adjust the moves into something that kind of showed a little bit more of what I was capable of, and kind of spicing up the moves so they're not, you know, as bland and generic as most people typically see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think your moveset is bland and generic at all. I think it's very diverse. And so you recently won the Chaotic Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. So how was that, being that Chaotic Wrestling is like the top promotion in New England?
That really meant a lot to me. Chaotic Wrestling is my home. It'll always be my home. You know, it's a company that's very closely associated with the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. You know, I've been doing ring crew there since day one, working security and stuff like that. Obviously, it was exciting when I was able to win the championship. I had lots of friends and family there, and it's just really it's really exciting to know that, you know, all the guys on the roster and the management, that they have my back in such a way that I know I can you know, rely on them for consistent you know, great matches in front of great crowds that will you know, really help me to improve as quickly as I have.
Yeah, and, you know, Chaotic Wrestling, it is your home, and that's where you say you put on amazing matches, but you really got to look at Ring of Honor as where your next step of your career is probably going to be taking you, especially since you won the tournament. So have you been in talks with them to continue? I mean, Hansen won last year, and you see where he is now. I mean, he's a #1 contender for their championship. So you got to think there's big things in store for you.
Yeah, well, it's already been announced that the winner of the Top Prospect tournament gets a TV title shot on March 7th in Baltimore at their TV tapings for that. So obviously that's, you know, where my sights are set for my next sort of Ring of Honor opportunity. I mean, obviously, how that match goes will determine a lot in terms of my future with that company. Obviously, I'm hoping for the best, and I think luck probably has a lot to do with it. So we'll see where everything goes, and I'll keep my fingers crossed. But yeah, that'll be at least the short term of my future with Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and I mean, Jay Lethal is an incredible opponent, so win or lose, you're still probably going to have one hell of a match.
Yeah, and Jay Lethal does have a TV title match against Alberto El Patron at the Las Vegas pay-per-view on March 1st, which is a few days, like 5 or 6 days before that TV taping, so it could be either of those guys.
Yeah, so talking crap right here, let's see, what one would you rather face and why?
Which would I rather face? I mean, they're both such quality opponents. I don't think I would be able to pick one. I mean, I can give you different reasons why I would prefer each one. Obviously, the match against Alberto would, you know, have more eyes on it, just of the natural draw that he is coming off of the WWE run and everything like that. And he's, you know, he works such a different, you know, lucha-based style that's kind of influenced by that, while also being a sort of submission/technician expert. Whereas Jay Lethal, you know, brings his own audience to the table, and you know, his own experience working all of the top guys over the past, you know, 10 years or however long it is, and him being so experienced in such a variety of different styles. I think they both offer, you know, just an awesome opportunity for me I'm really looking forward to either one, whichever it happens to be in the test that it presents me with.
Yeah, you have to be. I mean, best of luck to you in your future.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So you guys should also check out his Pro Wrestling Tees store. Now, did you design those shirts?
I think I have 3 shirts on there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're all designed by Robbie Fox. You can find him on there if you just go to that page and click on designers or whatever. Yeah, I think he did all 3 of those designs for me. I'm working on a couple of new designs, just sort of spice things up. Yeah, that website's it's a great website, ProWrestlingTees.com, and you can find me at /Donovan Dijak. I've only sold 1 so far, but yeah, I mean, hey, it's free. It doesn't cost anything for me to
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's not like you're making the shirts in a sweatshop.
Yeah,
so
I'm not like upset.
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure.
Obviously, if people want to go there and support me, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah, the link will be in the description below, and hopefully you will get a lot more supporters. And hell, a year from now, you could be in Hanson's position, the #1 contender for the ROH World Championship. I really hope that happens, especially since I've seen you wrestle a lot live, at the Monster Factory and at Chaotic Wrestling. So, yeah, I really have a lot of respect for you.
Well, thank you very much, and we always appreciate anyone who comes out to the live shows. I mean, the live audience is, really what makes a lot of those matches. I mean, you can put on the same match in front of 2 different audiences, and one of them is gonna love it and be completely behind it and chant this is awesome, and the other's gonna sit on their hands and everyone's gonna write on the internet about how terrible it was. So the audience a lot of the time makes the match. So that's always important, and all the guys in the ring always appreciate everyone who comes out to the shows and supports us.
So do you have any upcoming shows other than the Ring of Honor show that you'd like to pimp out?
Oh, sure. Let me take a look at my schedule. I always come unprepared for this question. Of course, my calendar's not working right now, conveniently. This weekend I don't have anything. I'm actually going to a seminar at the Ring of Honor dojo with Delirious and Adam Cole on Sunday. I know if there's any wrestlers listening to this, there's still slots available on that. It's only $50, so can't go wrong with that. On the 20th, I have Chaotic. That's in Wilbur, Massachusetts. On the 21st, Beyond Wrestling has Dojo Wars 3. Dojo Wars New England 3. I don't know who I'm wrestling there. On the 20th, I'm actually wrestling Warbeard Hansen. So, that should be a really awesome match of the last 2 top prospect winners, trainer versus student, everything like that. I'm really looking forward to that match. Dojo Wars, I don't know who I'm wrestling, and then after that, I'm not 100% sure. So, I have World of Hurt Wrestling in Whitehall, New York, on the 27th, and then a huge show that I just found out about on the 6th of March with NEW, and I'll be wrestling Mikey Webb on that. And that, I don't know where it is, but you can find out more information on the website. And then obviously after that is the TV taping in Baltimore for
Ring of Honor.
For Ring of Honor on the 7th.
Yep. So it's been a great time talking to you. Once again, best of luck. You guys should all follow him on Twitter. That is in the description below as well. And like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Our guest next week is Silas Young. I'll see you guys. Peace.